why the shower could be the most dangerous room after 60, and how to make it safe, soothing, and life-saving. Most people believe the most dangerous room in the house is the kitchen, or maybe the stairs. But for millions of older adults, it's the place they go to feel safe. That's quietly becoming the most risky, and no one talks about it. The bathroom. It was a chilly October morning in Boulder, Colorado, when 68-year-old Thomas stepped into his usual hot shower. He always liked the heat. It helped his joints, relaxed his muscles, but that day something felt off. Within seconds, Thomas felt a wave of dizziness. The next thing he remembers is waking up on the cold tile, his shoulder bruised, his confidence shaken. No slippery floor, no loud bang, just the quiet shock of a small invisible habit turning into a life-altering moment. And Thomas isn't alone. We develop habits, especially in later life, that feel harmless. But over time, these quiet routines start working against us. You'd never guess that something like water temperature, how long you bathe, or even where you place your towel could affect your senior health. But the truth is, they do. Falls in the bathroom are one of the leading causes of injury among adults over 65, says the National Institute on Aging. And yet, most of us never hear a word about the habits of the elderly that lead to these moments. Until it's too late. In this video, we're going to uncover 5 common bathing habits that seem small, but could be silently shortening your life after 60. These aren't just bad habits. They're invisible traps that most people don't even realize they've fallen into. Stay with me through all 5. Don't skip ahead, because the smallest change you make today could be the one that keeps you safe tomorrow. If you're new here, take a moment to comment number 1 to let me know you're watching. Subscribe and tap the bell, so you never miss out on practical, life-changing advice made just for you and the people you care about. Let's begin. Thomas never thought twice about his bathing routine. Like many people in their 60s and beyond, his mornings began with a steaming hot shower, what he called his personal therapy. It loosened his joints, cleared his head, and offered a brief escape from the world. But what felt comforting was slowly becoming a risk he didn't see coming. The habits of the elderly often carry years of routine behind them, and bathing in hot water, scalding, steamy, eye-fogging water, is one of those deeply embedded habits, the kind that whispers comfort, while it quietly chips away at your skin, your heart health, and your balance. What most people don't realize is that hot water isn't just drying. It strips the skin's protective oils, making it vulnerable to cracks, itchiness, and slow-healing wounds. For younger skin, that might mean minor irritation. But for aging skin, thinner, more delicate, more susceptible to infection, it's an open invitation to bacteria and inflammation. It's not just a surface issue. The Journal of the American Academy of Dermatology notes that older adults who bathe in overly hot water report significantly higher rates of chronic skin conditions, including eczema and contact dermatitis. But the danger goes deeper, literally. When hot water hits the skin, blood vessels dilate, sometimes causing a sudden drop in blood pressure. For someone with a sensitive cardiovascular system, or even just mild dehydration, that moment of lightheadedness can lead to a fall. That's what happened to Thomas. 1 second he felt dizzy. The next, he was on the floor with a dislocated shoulder. These aren't rare cases. They're common, and they're preventable. Yet many seniors say they bathe in hot water because it feels good. And that's valid. Comfort matters. But advice for the elderly isn't about giving things up. It's about adjusting. A warm shower, not hot, just warm enough to feel relaxing, can provide the same release, without the harm. Hospitals and care centers across the U.S., including Mayo Clinic and Mount Sinai, now recommend water temperatures below 100 degrees Fahrenheit for seniors. That simple change could be the difference between healing and harm. Our bodies whisper before they scream, and bathing is a moment where those whispers often go unheard. Before we move on to the next danger, one that involves how often you bathe rather than how, You might want to take a moment to ask yourself, have I ever left the shower with flushed red skin? Have I brushed it off as normal? Because the truth is, the habits we don't question are often the ones that need the most attention. And in the next part, we'll talk about how something as routine as frequency can have just as much impact as temperature. For years, Martha started every day the same way. Coffee at 7 o'clock, crossword at 7:30, and a long soapy shower by 8. Rain or shine, sick or well, she never skipped it. To her, that daily bath wasn't just about hygiene. It was a ritual of pride, dignity, and routine. But behind that habit, something small and unseen had been slowly shifting. And it wasn't until the skin on her arms began to crack and sting that she realized her routine was no longer serving her the way it used to. The habits of the elderly often come from a place of discipline. We were raised to believe cleanliness is next to godliness, that a fresh start begins with soap and water. But what if the very thing we've always believed was good is now one of the bad habits silently hurting our health? As we age, our skin becomes thinner, drier, and far less capable of holding on to moisture. Daily showers, especially when paired with soap on every inch of the body, can strip away the natural oils that once protected us. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, seniors who bathe too frequently are at significantly higher risk of developing conditions like xerosis, extreme dryness, eczema, and even skin tears that open the door to infection. This doesn't mean bathing is bad. It means the frequency needs to match the season of your body. Just like our metabolism slows, or our eyesight changes, our skin too needs a gentler rhythm. Spot washing, underarms, groin, feet can still keep you fresh, without overexposing the rest of your body to soap and water every single day. Martha learned this from her dermatologist after months of discomfort. She switched to bathing every other day, and used a soft cloth with fragrance-free cleanser. Within weeks, the redness eased. The itching stopped. Her confidence returned, not because she was cleaner, but because she was finally aligned with what her body truly needed. But here's what many people never consider. Overbathing doesn't just affect skin. It also drains energy. Every full bath or shower takes physical effort. Standing, bending, reaching, drying, moisturizing. For someone already living with joint pain, heart concerns, or fatigue, those 10 minutes can become a hidden source of daily exhaustion. Over time, that exhaustion adds up. And perhaps most importantly, the more effort it takes, the more vulnerable we are to accidents. It's not just about clean skin anymore. It's about preserving safety, energy, and dignity. Still, some might wonder, if I don't bathe daily, will I feel less fresh, less presentable? But as Martha shared with her daughter, it's not about how many showers I take. It's about how I feel after the ones that matter. In the next section, we'll explore how the very environment you bathe in, your shower space, your support system, might be the hidden risk no one talks about until it's too late. Stay with me, because what comes next might just save you from a preventable fall. Martha had always taken pride in doing things herself. After raising 3 children, managing a home, and teaching school for 30 years in Charlotte, North Carolina, she didn't take kindly to the idea that she might need help navigating her own bathroom. "I've stepped into that tub every day for decades," she told her daughter, Claire. "I don't need bars or chairs like I'm in a hospital." But one chilly November morning, that changed. The steam from her bath had fogged the mirror, as usual. She reached to shut off the faucet and stepped out. Her heel met the edge of the bath mat. It shifted, and in that split second of imbalance, she was down. Nothing dramatic. No broken bones, thankfully. But the bruises told a story her pride couldn't cover. And the tremor in her voice when she called Claire later? That was new. The habits of the elderly often include doing things the same way as always. And while that brings comfort, it can also carry silent danger. One of the bad habits that costs seniors the most is neglecting basic safety features in the bathroom. Not out of laziness, but because the very idea of needing them feels like giving something up. Here's the truth. Installing grab bars, using a shower seat, or adding non-slip mats isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. According to the CDC, more than 80% of falls among adults over 65 happen in the bathroom. Slippery floors, twisting movements, and fast transitions from warm water to cool air, they all contribute. These falls aren't just painful, they're life-altering. Yet, for every Walter who thinks a grab bar makes him look old, there's a Eugene who installs one before he ever needs it. And when the moment came, Eugene didn't fall, because he planned ahead. Independence isn't about pretending we're still 30. It's about creating environments that support our freedom, not endanger it. The smartest advice for the elderly today? Equip your home the way a pilot checks their plane, so nothing unexpected knocks you off course. And it's not just about physical safety. These small changes can also restore confidence. Once Martha installed her first grab bar, after much convincing, she found herself less anxious about bathing. She took longer, enjoyed the warmth again, and even returned to her favorite lavender-scented bath salts. She said it made her feel more like herself. That's the irony. Adding safety didn't take away her independence. It gave it back. But here's the part most people don't realize. Safety isn't just about features. It's about awareness. And in the next section, we'll explore how overlooking small skin changes during these daily routines can signal much more serious health issues if we're not paying attention. Sometimes your body whispers before it ever shouts. And the shower is one of the best times to listen. Martha hadn't noticed the small spot on her shoulder right away. It was easy to miss. The lighting in the bathroom was soft, her routine was automatic, and her attention had always been on getting in and out of the tub without slipping. But over a few weeks, the mark changed shape. And when she finally showed it to Claire, her daughter froze. It wasn't just a mark, it was a warning. The dermatologist confirmed it. Early-stage melanoma, caught just in time. We don't talk enough about how the habits of the elderly can become too automatic, too rushed, or too disengaged. We focus on safety, mobility, and energy conservation. But one thing we forget is how the act of bathing is not just cleansing, it's observation. And ignoring changes in the skin is one of the most common, yet bad habits that can cost us more than we realize. Bathing presents a rare, vulnerable moment, when the entire surface of the body is exposed, touched, seen. It's a built-in health check, if we learn how to use it. Changes in the skin can be signs of everything from circulation issues and diabetes, to infection, autoimmune conditions, and even cancer. What starts as a dry patch or a discolored mole can evolve, quietly and dangerously, if left unnoticed. Elaine, Martha's friend from her book club in Asheville, developed her own ritual. Every time she showered, she paused to feel for changes. A raised bump, a patch of irritated skin behind the knee, the odd itch she couldn't explain. It wasn't paranoia, it was curiosity. And that curiosity led her to catch a precancerous lesion early. Her doctor told her, "This kind of early detection isn't luck, it's awareness." The advice for the elderly here isn't dramatic or expensive. It's simple. Slow down and pay attention. Take advantage of the quiet moment in the shower to notice. Look behind the knees, under the arms, the soles of your feet. Run your fingers over your back or shoulders. If you can't see a spot clearly, ask someone you trust. What matters is not perfection, it's presence. And here's something many don't consider. Your skin tells the story of your internal health. Redness in the legs may point to circulation issues. Persistent dryness in certain areas could signal dehydration or nutrient deficiencies. A sore that won't heal could hint at a deeper problem. In a world where we rush through so much, bathing is one of the few intimate, uninterrupted moments you have with your body. In the next section, we'll look at how even this moment of care can be undone if we rush it. Because while noticing changes is essential, so is giving yourself the time to notice. And that's where the next mistake begins. the subtle damage done by rushing the bathing process itself. Claire had always believed that the faster she got through her morning routine, the more productive her day would be. That thinking carried over even as she turned 72. Bathing, something once associated with a sense of care and ease, became another task to check off. A quick step into the shower, a fast scrub, and she was out before the mirror had a chance to fog. But one afternoon, while stepping out too quickly, she lost her balance and barely caught herself on the towel rack. Her heart pounded, not just from the close call, but from the realization that she hadn't really been present with her body in weeks. Among the many habits of the elderly, rushing through the bath is one of the most overlooked bad habits. It's easy to understand why. The bathroom can feel cold. The process can seem tiring. And after decades of routines, the mind focuses more on the finish line than the moment itself. But in that haste, something important is lost. Not just safety, but health. When you rush, your body doesn't get the transition time it needs. Moving too fast from warm water to cool air causes your blood vessels to constrict suddenly. For older adults, especially those with cardiovascular sensitivities, this can lead to lightheadedness, dizziness, or even fainting. Your joints may not be ready to bend or twist quickly, and your balance might not be what it once was. One wrong step, one quick turn, one slippery tile, that's all it takes. More subtly, rushing robs you of the benefits that a gentle bath provides. The warm water relaxes muscles, reduces stress hormones, and can even lower blood pressure, if you allow it to. When the experience becomes mechanical, your body absorbs none of that calm. Elaine, Martha's friend who had made skin awareness part of her shower ritual, also discovered that slowing down allowed her to breathe more deeply, to reconnect. "It became my meditation," she once said. "I moved slowly, not because I had to, but because I wanted to feel every part of myself again." And when you give yourself that time, you're more likely to notice when something's off. A bruise, a pain, a tightness you hadn't realized. These aren't minor details. They're the cues your body gives when something's not right. Next, we'll dive into the emotional side of this. What happens when bathing becomes more than a physical task? When fear, trauma, or resistance step in? Because for some, especially those dealing with memory loss or illness, bathing isn't just a habit, it's a hurdle. When Claire finally slowed down her bathing routine, it wasn't just about preventing a fall. It was about reclaiming a part of herself that had quietly gone missing. She realized that she'd treated her body like a machine. Rinsed, scrubbed, dried, done. But now, each movement was deliberate. Each breath under the warm water was a reminder that this moment matters. And if you've come with us this far, maybe you're starting to see it too. That the smallest habits of the elderly, those we hardly question, can quietly shape our health, mood, and independence in ways we rarely imagine. Because here's the truth no one says out loud: aging isn't the enemy. But bad habits, especially those tied to outdated routines, can be. The choices we make in everyday moments, how hot we let the water run, whether we listen to our skin, if we rush or slow down, if we pretend we're still 40 or honor the body we have today, those choices add up. Over time, they either support us or break us down. And the good news? Every habit can be rewritten. We've seen that with Martha, who traded in her long, scalding showers for a warm rinse and moisturized skin. With Eugene, who installed grab bars and quietly avoided a hospital stay. With Elaine, who caught a skin warning early because she chose to look. And Claire, who discovered peace where she once rushed. But maybe now, it's your turn. Your next chapter doesn't begin in a gym or a clinic. It begins in the bathroom. In how you touch your body. In how you pace yourself. In whether you pause to ask, is this habit helping me or hurting me? That brings us to something we didn't talk about yet. Something that could be your next powerful shift. The bonus habit, the quiet revolution, is the habit of preparing the environment before you even step in. Before the water runs, before the towel's grabbed, before the soap is picked. It's setting the stage for your body to feel welcomed, not rushed. That means warming the room just a little, laying out everything you'll need so you're not reaching, choosing a robe that makes you smile, even playing a bit of soft music, something that reminds you this is your time. Because when you feel safe, seen, and steady, you're less likely to resist, less likely to rush, and more likely to listen. And it's in that listening that longevity lives. So, what's one thing you'll change today? One shift, just one, can start a ripple. Comment number 5 below if this resonated with you. And please, share this with someone you love, who might not realize their old habits are working against them. Subscribe to stay with us. We're just getting started. Because aging doesn't have to mean decline. Sometimes, it just means learning to move differently, more gently, more wisely, and always with more care.